Hi, I'm Dave, and this is my wife, Cathy.
Hello.
And we are sitting on the couch. You are listening to the Cinemile, in which we walk to and from the cinema. But today is a special Netflix edition. Why did I say Netflix?
Which my
Like
little
Sean
sister,
Connery.
my little sister said we should call it Netflix and Chillemile.
Yes.
Yes, which Elizabeth, kudos, was very clever.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
The reason we are sat at home is because we're going to watch a movie which is only available on Netflix. And this is the latest Cloverfield movie, the Cloverfield Paradox, which was dropped yesterday during the Super Bowl in a super cool move where they just released a trailer that nobody was expecting during the Super Bowl. And then said, oh, and the movie's available now, go watch it on Netflix.
It's so cool. It's like Beyonce just dropping her album. Like, it's awesome.
Exactly.
Now, I didn't hear about any of this. Dave just came home from work saying, oh, there's a new Cloverfield movie out. It's been dropped on Netflix. Will you watch it? I'm like, great. So I haven't seen the original Cloverfield movie, but I have seen 12.
Have you not?
Cloverfield.
You're sure you have?
No. I've seen 12 Cloverfield Lane, which I loved. So, I'm into it.
Is it 10 Cloverfield Lane?
Or 10 Cloverfield Lane. I don't work
What was
on
the
12.
address?
I don't know the address.
Nobody writes to anyone anymore, so we don't know.
We don't know, but I really
I think it
liked
was
that.
10.
And it's fun. I haven't even seen the trailer for this. I know zero about it.
That was a great movie. It was probably better than Cloverfield. But what Cloverfield in 2008 was brilliant and famous for was for doing exactly this. It was J.J. Abrams exec produced it with his Bad Robot company. And Matt Reeves was the director, who's since gone on to direct many other things. And they just dropped that trailer at a time and then nobody knew what the project was, what Cloverfield was, didn't even know what the movie was about. It was just that short little teaser. It was a found footage movie, and then it was like you heard a monster roar, and then the Statue of Liberty's head came rolling down the street.
Oh, so they've always been a bit fun with the marketing then? Because
Yes.
the second one was just a fun musical montage, wasn't it? The trailer for that one.
The second
John
one was
Goodman.
a more straightforward trailer, except nobody knew it. It just came out of nowhere. Nobody even knew the movie existed.
But I feel like I remember the trailer just had music in it and was just like a weird...
The trailer was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, the trailer was
But it was
cool.
a really cool trailer.
Yeah, it was really cool.
It had a great 80s track in it.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, well, we've nothing to say about this. Let's watch it.
But anyway, that was at a time when like viral marketing was like just taking off. It was and it was like the kind of fledgling days of internet movie fandom. So there wasn't. It was like social media was just barely a thing. Like big internet movie blogs were things, and the speculation. I remember I was in college for that, and it was like people were going nuts. Like, what is this movie?
Yeah.
And it was such a cool move. So I'm glad that that's kind of the MO of Cloverfield, and that J.J. Abrams is still doing that stuff because he's obsessed with that. And in a world where we are just obsessed with, we're spoon-fed every single little detail about a movie right up to its release, to the point where for me I just have to avoid trailers for things because trailers contain the entire movie now.
Oh my god, we saw a trailer yesterday for The Shape of Water, and as far as I can tell, I don't need to watch the movie now.
No, it's all in there. It's
Yeah.
so frustrating to the point where I didn't actually watch any of the Super Bowl trailers from yesterday. Apparently the Mission Impossible one is amazing, but I want to go
Can't wait
see
for
that
that.
movie.
Yeah.
And apparently also it's got all the good stuff in it. So why do I want to go to that movie fresh, and I want to
Yeah.
experience that fresh.
Now, Dave, I want to go to bed soon, so can we
No,
stop this
fuck
intro
that,
and
Lynn.
watch this movie?
Well, I was just one more thing. I was just going to say as well, the one trailer I did watch was the Han Solo one, because my rule is I'm not going to watch trailers for movies that I'm definitely going to go see, because all I'm doing is just ruining my
Forget about it. You're
enjoyment
going to
or
go and see the
something.
Han Solo movie.
No, but I'm on the I didn't like The Last Jedi. I'm
Didn't
just
you?
over. Shut up.
I haven't heard that one.
I'm just fed up with Star Wars to the point where I was like, I don't
To the point where you can't stop talking about it on
But
the podcast.
also, no, I could talk about it forever. But also, that movie has had such an interesting, troubled.
we're not here
backstory.
to talk about the Han Solo
I
movie.
just had to have a look, and it looks not great. Some interesting stuff in there, but yeah, we're not going to talk about.
We're not going to talk about that. We're going to watch the Cloverfield Paradox.
Sorry, I just get so excited. I just think this is so cool. This is what a great new world we're living in, where it's like just like drop a movie trailer out of nowhere, and it's like, hey, go watch the movie, and it's like, this is exciting. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's exciting, and
And
it also
we're on our couch.
really helps our podcast that Netflix are now releasing big movies.
Yeah,
It means
doesn't
that we
help
don't.
our podcast. Our podcast, the whole idea of our podcast, we're supposed to be out walking.
Yeah, but we don't have a babysitter, and this is a brand new movie, and all of our listeners appear to have Netflix.
It
so
is very
if
convenient.
you don't have Netflix, let us know. We'd be interested. Okay, now we're off to Netflix and Chillemile.
We're not off to Netflix and Chillemile. We're sitting on the couch.
I'm trying to end this
what
intro.
An awkward sentence that was. Okay, we're off to Netflix and Chillemile. I'm sorry to Lizzie, Cathy's sister. That's a very clever pun, but it's just not really going to stick.
Please end this intro. See you after the movie.
Okay,
Bye.
I should say we don't actually know anything about this movie.
We know we've said
all.
that. Dave's
now
gone mad, like gone rogue.
All right, okay, fine.
Okay, bye.
All right, we're gonna watch this movie now. We'll see you in a bit.
I have to be quick. Whatever you're doing right now, stop. Go to your children right now. Kiss them. Hold them for as long as you can. That's all there is. Right now.
Wow, that wasn't very good, was it?
No, I've figured out why it's a Netflix release, and it's because it's actually not good enough to be in the cinema.
Right, yeah, I think that would make sense. Well, apparently, so Paramount actually had the distribution rights to this, and they distributed the other two Cloverfield movies, and they were rumored to have it for an April cinematic release date, but Netflix snapped it up and just abruptly released it. So maybe what looks like a very shocking and exciting move that I was gushing over at the first half of this actually maybe is just a very smart move to dupe everyone into just watching a thing that's going to get really bad reviews. I haven't actually looked up any reviews for this.
It's really clever because a Super Bowl ad would cost a fortune, right? But one Super Bowl ad versus a marketing campaign internationally for a movie would surely be a lot less. So they've done a very clever job of doing a Super Bowl release. Everyone will see the trailer online. It goes viral.
Netflix
and then,
look good, they look cool.
Yeah, and then you watch it, and it's actually very like Bright, which we also reviewed, the Netflix movie, in that it's a really cool setting, and very quickly it's not done right, and it's a waste. Now, it's better than Bright, but I would say it has a great cast and a great setting, and by the end I could have cared less about it.
But this is actually troubling. See our Bright review for more comments on this. But if this is the trend for the way Netflix are going to produce and release movies, like just this sort of just like who gives a shit, just we look like we're cool.
Well, they have had, first of all, they did Mudbound, which I haven't seen, which is supposed to be amazing.
I know they
and they did do the movie.
For
I forget the name of it, but the movie with Idris Elba last year.
Beast of No Nation.
Yeah, so they've done some quality movies that I haven't watched.
Okia was supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah, so this is just, I mean, this shouldn't be under the same name as the last Cloverfield movie in terms of quality.
No, so 10 Cloverfield Lane is leagues better than this movie. This movie, I'll give a very brief synopsis we won't do any spoilers yet. It's basically like tangentially links into the other Cloverfield movies, but it's a standalone story again. It's set on a space station at the near distant future. Earth is in an energy crisis, and there's a team of astronauts working on what is essentially the Higgs boson collider in Switzerland. It's the exact same thing. You know, the thing where they smash particles together and they try to discover the God particle.
I have no idea. It was so many movies that I've seen
didn't
before.
Have a clue what was
like, it was
on.
Basically actually quite like Geostorm, which I watched recently. It was quite like Life, which we reviewed last year. So both
which
of those
in
movies
itself
we planned.
is just Alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sunshine, it was like that.
Yeah. The whole thing I just described is just Sunshine.
It's just, and like, okay, so it's an amazing cast, right? So I cannot say her name, but her first name is Gugu. She was the star.
Gugu Mbatha Raw.
She was the star of that Black Mirror episode San Junipero, which everyone loved. Right, she's great in this. We've David Oyelowo, who's amazing. We've Daniel Brühl, who's awesome. John Ortiz, Chris O'Dowd,
John Ortiz,
Chris O'Dowd, Elizabeth Debrecki, the Aussie.
Zhang Ziyi, the Chinese actress.
You can see we're reading
the younger actress. We have the credits.
We have the credits paused here, but that's an amazing cast.
She's from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. She's great, and they all deliver very good performances.
Everyone's good. Like at the start, we were like, "Wow, what a cast!" And then very quickly, we were like, "Wait, but we don't know anything about any of the characters," and we're now half an hour into the movie.
The script let everyone down because everyone besides Gugu Mbatha Raw's character is completely underwritten. You get one of these sort of brief intro scenes where they're all in a canteen like shooting the shit, but like you get all the characters just one note. Like Chris O'Dowd is the Joker. I cannot even define. Daniel Brühl is the brooding scientist. They all just like have just one thing to describe their character, which basically means they're just stereotypes.
And my overall, I would say my feeling, I'm going to say the cons first. It's dull. It's uncinematic. The plot's predictable. I think it's actually a waste of time and money, and it's a waste of the brand, right? So that's all I'd have to say about it.
It's boring.
It's genuinely boring, and the science of it, neither of us could really follow, and we were both going, wait, what's happening? And the only thing I would say is that I don't want to get into spoiler street, but I liked Chris O'Dowd. I got a few laughs from him. I liked the setting.
In this. He's good,
and I like that the core character was a strong female. I mean, that's all I have good to say about it.
Also, how exciting that he's actually playing an Irishman. And you know the way, like, you always see, we've seen this so many times, like I'm thinking Armageddon, so many movies where you've got a group of international astronauts, say, working together.
Like the Russians, the Chinese, and the Americans.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is. So there's someone from every country, and they each have their country's flag on their jumpsuits. But Chris O'Dowd is just playing an Irishman, and he has the Irish flag. So it's the first Irishman in space.
Yes, I did enjoy that. Honestly,
we finally did it.
Dave didn't see Geostorm with me last year, or this year. I can't remember when I saw it. But man, you need to see Geostorm because it's better than this. And like that's saying a lot.
I really want to see Geostorm because it looks terrible in a fun way.
And we need to. I reckon we just go straight to spoiler sofa at this point because we've very little to say about this movie, unless you've any more top line thoughts.
I will say, look, there's actually, if you're a fan of this sort of genre, like shit going wrong in space, there's enough in here. It's like,
yeah, it's not terrible.
There's enough in here if you're really bored some Friday night and you just want some sort of mild scares and slightly recycled ideas that you've seen before.
Slightly recycled?
Yeah, it's largely recycled. The whole thing is completely recycled, except there's all the little sort of scenes, which I'll get to in spoilers. The little sort of the horror moments have some really, really fun ideas in them.
Yeah, they do. And look, I would say to its credit, it's not that long. It's like an hour and a half.
It's an hour and 40. So there's some fun stuff in here. But really, if you don't have characters you're invested in, or a plot that's kind of coherent and keeps you gripped, then the rest of it is just fun ideas thrown at a wall.
And it's like, lucky they've really good actors, but bar Chris O'Dowd really and the lead woman, they were given nothing to do. The actors, like,
no, they're wasted. It's not their fault.
Why is David Oyelowo in this movie? Like, he played Martin Luther King. Like, he's gone from that. Like, and I'm sure
he Oscar nominated for that. Was he?
No, I think that was a really big snub that year. He wasn't nominated. But this is just like, I mean, nothing against him going in this movie. I'm sure he got paid loads of money, and the script probably looked good at the time, and he's playing the captain and everything. But then actually, when it boiled down to it, he probably barely 5 lines. Like, shocking waste of talent.
That's the problem when you have a big ensemble like this. No one really gets any.
But to be fair to Life, which we pretty much slated last year in this podcast, Life, they all had characters.
Life's better than this.
Yeah, Life's better than this. And it's funny, I wouldn't have thought last year when we were watching Life that we'd have been saying it was better than anything.
No, this feels very B-rated.
At least, this is not a pun. Life had a bit of life to it.
Yes, this is dead. Dull. This is dull.
Yeah, this is really dull.
Chris O'Dowd is the only one who's kind of working hard to inject a bit of comedy into it, but none of them felt like nobody was invested in. I mean, as characters, the characters just felt like they were bored.
Lifeless.
They were literally trying to save the planet, and they were just like, Oh, the wanna.
Actually, my favourite character was the character who was on Earth. The husband character. I don't know who he is.
Okay, well, let's talk about that.
We'll
Let's
talk
go to
about him.
we'll move over to spoiler sofa now. Okay. That was my
Spoiler
sound
sofa.
effect for us moving over. Did you like that?
I loved it, actually. Yeah, we've just moved sofas. We've multiple sofas in our living room. So we've got spoiler
We actually
sofa.
do have multiple sofas.
Well, we
Why did you
do.
say that? Like everyone has multiple sofas.
Well,
in
no,
their
they
living
don't. We have two very small sofas, and of course, spoiler sofa, also known as spoiler settee.
I've got to be completely honest. We stayed on the same
Yeah.
sofa. I just made up that noise.
So embarrassing. I have to say one thing as well is, I think this is a movie that if I had watched it in the cinema, I might have been more invested in it. However, if I'd watched it in the cinema, I would have thought it was very cheap looking.
It is
Like Life had better. There's a couple of scenes in Life that were properly gory and fun. Like this, just looked cheap. Like it looks like a cheap movie to me.
It doesn't look super cheap.
Like
I
it
mean,
looks like something that would have been straight to DVD back
I would
in the
say
day.
no. It's moderately budget. This is mid-range budget. Everything looks polished enough. But
I'd love to see the budget of this compared to the last one, because the last one was probably quite low budget and looked incredible.
super low budget. But you know what? Let's talk about why the last one was so good. It's because
Without
it's
spoiling
essentially.
it.
Yeah, we won't spoil 10 Cloverfield Lane, but I absolutely recommend that everyone go watch that.
It's just an amazing
it's because
movie.
it's a more of a play. It's a 3-piece, 3 actors, in a small, enclosed location.
Yeah.
And that's
fantastic
and very very
dialogue.
well written.
Yeah.
And brilliant performances from everybody.
Incredible. Everything about it, the set, the music, the cast,
And it's
the writing.
thrilling. Like it's a million. Like this thing wants to be an epic. but
I
it's
got
just
up
boring.
With 10 minutes left in this movie, I'm not joking, I got up and made myself a cup of tea. Like that's how dull that is. Like that would never happen in a good 90-minute movie.
Can I talk about the things I liked?
Yes.
I thought that the fun ideas that I mentioned. I liked what they did with the 3D printer, which was making their food, the bagels, and then the guy overrode the security protocol and made a 3D gun.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, I
in
watch
space.
Grey's Anatomy. They're always building like fake bones and stuff on 3D printers. Like, there's nothing new in that.
Yeah, but that's fun. I've never seen a 3D gun printed in space before, so I hadn't seen that. That was
Okay.
cool. The woman trapped in the walls when they first find her was like cool and quite scary.
That was cool, but then they didn't react to it. They're like, "Oh, hey, welcome to the team." It's like you've been in
Yeah, I
space
know,
for
yeah.
2 years. Somebody just shows up and you have no reaction to it.
I liked Chris O'Dowd, who was like the engineer. I liked his little sticky substance that he uses to fix things.
Yeah, that was cute.
That was quite cool. And I liked all the stuff with physics bending, like the way it ended up kind of killing him was weird, and all the stuff with his arm was just like
that was
crazy
brilliant.
interesting. I've never seen anything like that before. It was almost like Evil Dead 2.
It was cool, but at the start it was such a shame because when they were talking through the science of the paradox in the title and how you can go between dimensions and time, we're like, awesome, they're going to time travel, like they're going to do loads with this. They did they swapped dimensions. That was really cool. And then that was it. Like, if you're going to have such an amazing idea, which I do think that was really fun.
Well, they also
do
brought
something
loads
with
of
it.
monsters to the world. That's the thing, but they didn't show us any of that. So
That's why we were having an argument as we watched this, because there's no one else around so we can argue. I thought the Earth character of the husband was good because it was grounding us, reminding us what was happening back in Earth, and investing us in it a little bit, where it's not just monsters, but there's a human there that we like, and I liked him because I thought he seemed really like a lovely husband.
I completely disagree. I thought he was a bad actor. I thought he was a poor character. I didn't give two shits about what he was doing.
He wasn't
or
a
where
bad
he was
actor.
going.
He was given like his lines were so embarrassing that like bloody Meryl Streep couldn't have delivered the lines.
No, but here's the difference. Everyone had bad lines in that movie. Every single
His
person.
were worse though, because he was talking to his credit, he was talking to a phone for the whole movie.
Yeah, I know.
So he's an actor who's acting into a phone in front of a blue screen.
He
Like,
had a
come
hard
on.
job.
They had
okay.
you have like Dave. You're acting across from David Oyelowo, or you're acting into a phone screen, and like who's going to do the better
I know, but I
performance?
didn't believe. I
believed
hang
him.
on.
He was my favourite character.
Yeah, but Gugu Mbatha Raw was talking into a screen for a lot of it. She sends a very heartfelt message to her alternate self at the very end, and she delivered that like beautifully.
Yeah, but she had the better.
She delivered that nonsense with.
We're on spoiler sofa, so we can say this. She was speaking to the death of her children and the emotional impact on her. He was phoning up to find out what his next shift at the hospital was. Like, you cannot compare what they were given. And honestly, I thought he was so charming, and I said he's a lovely husband.
But hang on,
out loud, admitted I said that. He's so nice.
I'm not denying that
he
you
wanted
said
her to
that.
stay
I'm
in
disagreeing
space.
with what you're saying.
I think you're giving that actor a hard time.
No. But he did the exact same thing that she did at the very end. He turns on the phone to record her a message, and he's like, "Hello, beautiful. It's me, your husband. If you're seeing this right now, it probably means that I'm dead."
That's not the line. And also,
that's
when I thought he's a lovely husband. So we're reading this wrong. But I liked that, because honestly, I was so bored of it. By the end, I'd actually, because enough of it was happening in space that I had forgotten that it was connected to the Cloverfield monsters. So at the end, I was glad of his scene saying, "Don't come back because of the monsters." And I went, "Oh yeah, I forgot about them."
No,
so I wasn't
completely disagree with you.
Usually in an astronaut movie, you're kind of gunning for them to get back to Earth, but this time you're like, no, don't come back to Earth.
The Earth stuff completely killed whatever little pathetic momentum that the stuff in space had, because you can't just jump back and forth, and it's an entirely separate, inconsequential plot related to a movie that came out 10 years ago.
Yeah, they tried to tie it into 10 Cloverfield Lane as well, with the bunker scene. So they basically, they know the movie's not as good as either of the other two, so they're desperately trying to claw back any association with the other two, which I think they need, and I can see why Netflix wanted to buy the brand, because, you know, again, you save a lot of money marketing if you're marketing something that's already a pre-sold concept, which is Cloverfield.
Didn't it?
So, yeah. So I mean, Netflix have done a very clever job here. As usual, I'm impressed with what they've done in that sense, but the movie's a waste of time. Like, it's funny, like, it took us so long to watch it. Like, we were pausing it and we were kind of both arguing about the science, for neither of us understood it, and we both had completely different reads on what they were trying to achieve.
Yes, which means that the movie has failed to explain to us. Because, okay, so I think that they successfully turned on the Shepherd device at the end, and they said, "Yay, we've done it, and we have a consistent beam." And I think that's what was going to supply energy to the Earth. You think that they were supposed to fire it into the Earth?
I thought they were supposed to fire something. I thought they had kept trying to fire something and it wasn't hitting anything. And then at the end,
firing was just starting up the engine.
Okay, I thought they were trying to actually aim at something and hit it.
Because otherwise, why would they have left the ship behind?
I don't know. That's why I couldn't follow. I was like,
I know,
but what have they achieved? And I really didn't understand. And I also don't understand why the lead woman ultimately didn't go back to the planet with her own grown-up kids and went back to the other one. They didn't explain what changed her mind. They had her making the decision that she's going to stay on this new planet and go and meet her older kids. And then, which I did enjoy, I enjoyed that the baddie was a woman and our lead protagonist was a woman. So I was glad to see the two of them at it. But I thought the baddie, and I said to Dave, she has to be a baddie because we need a twist, because this is too boring. She's the baddie. She was as dull as dishwater. Now, she's an actress who I quite like. She's from The Night Manager. Everyone will know her from that. And she was just so robotic that she had to be the baddie. And then, okay, just because your friend turned on you, now you're going to go back to the other planet. Like, that's not a motivation of a logical character. Like, we needed to see more of her decision.
She had a moment where she was just staring at the picture of her family as soon as she got out of the airlock. So she just defeated the blonde robot woman.
I really have to say, really enjoyed that blonde woman's death.
That was cool.
That was awesome.
See, that's the thing. This movie has some great little sequences. I feel like the writers must have sat in a room and just said, "Oh, wouldn't it be fun if this? Wouldn't it be fun if that?" And so all that stuff is great, but the script just feels like a first draft. It feels like they didn't move on from that.
It's bizarre. I kind of wish it had gone out in cinemas, because we'd have a realistic perception.
Then we'd have paid money to see that.
We wouldn't have paid money. We wouldn't have gotten a babysitter in and paid money to go and see this. We can barely make it to Oscar movies.
Why you
interrupted me. I'm saying,
sorry.
I wish it had been in the cinema, because I would like to see it fail at the box office, because movies this unoriginal should fail.
Right.
Whereas Netflix will just, if anyone asks, say it was a massive success and they've already commissioned a sequel.
You're right. That's what's troubling about Netflix. There's no there's no sort of quality control anymore. We're just getting everything, and they are making. Obviously, they're making some great stuff.
I mean, but like, look at the advertising, or look at the word of mouth they've gotten from this. Like, it's a great idea.
I know.
Yeah, it really is. But I don't think there's anything else to say about it. Have you anything else to say?
There was some terrible product placement. I remember. Do you remember when? The guy, your favorite husband of all time, who you wish I was.
So nice. He spent the whole movie rescuing a little girl, volunteering to do a 72-hour shift in the hospital, and then telling his wife to stay in space and not to come back. And how much he loved her, and he never once blamed her, even though she actually got their children killed.
Well, whatever. He rescues the girl, and then they're just driving. Like, why was she even in it? What was the point of her? What was the point? Sorry,
because they were showing us the human side of what's happening with the monsters, and they could only afford one other person.
So they couldn't afford to show us the monsters.
They hired a little girl
until the very end. Anyway, he's driving in the car with her, and he's like, he's texting while he's driving. First of all, which she does give out to him about, and he's like, I won't be able to make it to the hospital to do my 72-hour shift today.
No, you missed. He showed up at the hospital and was like blown out.
Oh, fine, whatever. He's like, and then he's like, "Are you okay, little girl? Do you want anything? Here, I have a box of M&Ms
say that. He
in
just
the glove compartment." Yeah, but the camera lingers on the glove compartment.
That was really nice of him.
And he has nothing in there except a box of M&Ms.
But he knew that she'd be really hungry and tired, and he gave her the last of his food.
You ever said, when I'm hungry and tired, I always reach for M&Ms.
He wasn't also American.
Sorry, but why was there nothing in his glove compartment? Like,
okay, you're speaking to someone whose dad only ever has lollipops in his glove box. Next time you're in my dad's car, open it, and I guarantee you all that's in it is lollipops.
Not like a map or a...
No. Well, maybe there's a map, but there's always at least 5 lollipops.
5 lollipops?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
All right, Jimmy. Jimmy, you're almost certainly not listening to this. But I'm definitely going to be rooting through your glove box next time I see you.
You only listen to me go to historical movies.
Okay. I mean, that's all.
We've nothing left to say. We need to wrap this up.
Oh, I did notice Chris O'Dad's name was Mundy, who is a relatively famous Irish singer-songwriter. So I wonder, in the near future, does Mundy become the first Irish man in space? I'd like to think so.
Oh, maybe. So he's been off training as like a rocket scientist in the meantime.
Yeah.
Yeah. In between records, he's probably been studying. Yeah, I've nothing left to say. I've literally written down notes, and they're just like, this is boring. This is crap.
The first thing I wrote in my notes was terrible... full stop exposition. All right. Thanks for listening. If you want to hear more of us, we have other podcast episodes. This is episode 90 something.
Yeah. Where we actually go to the cinema. Or would you rather us Netflix and Chillemile a bit more?
Stop saying that. We are at the Cinemile on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. You can email us thecinemaile@gmail.com. Cathy, tell the people about our great offer in association with M&M's.
Yes, we have a fantastic offer. If you go on to iTunes and you leave us a 5-star rating, we will post you a box of peanut M&M's.
We'll post you one of the lollipops from Cathy's dad's glove box. Will you take a picture of that next time you see him and post that to us?
For sure. I can't believe you've not noticed that before.
Yes. I've not noticed. I just stuck a rooting in your dad's car.
So basically we'll give you sweets and M&M's if you leave us an iTunes review. Also, if you like us doing Netflix and Chillemiles, next time we might do actually Mudbound, because that's apparently awesome.
And we actually had a load of people tweet us
that we should watch
over Christmas that we should watch it,
because
back when we were doing our best films of 2017.
At this point we're going to lose all faith in Netflix and cancel our subscription.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Alright, thanks for listening. Don't watch this movie.
I think my arm's trying to write something.
Somebody get a pen.
Schmidt?
This is madness.
Go. Oh, that's creepy.